get to the hotel until about 10:30, so we do expect to see fatigue and tiredness to be an issue today.
All right, we'll keep an eye on and the Cards in all red, head to toe, will kick it away. Brock Travelstead drives it, and the Deacons will return it back beyond the 20. Keyshawn Williams, there's another change in the return game because Donovan Green is also unavailable for today. And we'll look at the Deacons offensive set, and here's an interesting wrinkle, Roddy.
The staple is this ride-read play that they run. The quarterback sticks the ball in the belly of the running back and almost walks him up to the line of scrimmage at times, which makes the linebackers commit, and then the running back explodes out for big gains. We'll see Christian Beal-Smith doing it by himself here today. Kenneth Walker opted out of the rest of the year, so Christian Beal-Smith will get the bulk of the carries.
And Beal-Smith tries to find a cutback off the first down at the 24. And rallying to the ball, Yaya Diaby, one of the veteran guys. He's not the most veteran by a long shot, junior from Atlanta. But Diaby plays up front with Jared Goldwild, Tavarius Peterson, all veteran guys. Here's Beal-Smith. A little hesitation, runs right into Dorian Etheridge's arms out at about the 28. Quickly we're to third down with two fast snaps from the Deacons.
Well, Wake Forest can be one of the fastest teams in the ACC.
Here's Skinner. I say Skinner, it's Sam Hartman, and he'll throw complete to Jaquarii Roberson. Another slingshot throw from Hartman, his first completion of the day to Roberson, who had 12 catches in their last two ball games prior to the stoppage of play for Wake Forest. 1st and 10. And here's Beal-Smith. And he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 43. Marlon Character over there for Louisville on the play.
Mentioned that Kenneth Walker not going to play in this game, not going to play for the rest of the year. Wake Forest hopes to get the sophomore back in the spring, but Christian Beal-Smith has carried the ball the majority of the time the past few games. He is a very capable, very good back as well.
Here is Beal-Smith. Kind of waiting there on first down, and Abdullah, 22, will shove him back. They'll measure it to the 41. Third down coming up. Wake Forest can change gears, Roddy, about as quick as anybody in college football in their tempo, it looks like.
Absolutely can.
Hartman, third down. Far side throw and a catch. Taylor Morin hauls in the grab. His 26th of the year and a first down for the Deacons here on their opening drive. So third down conversion for Hartman.
Well, the protection was fantastic by this experienced offensive line. Sam Hartman does a nice job of just sliding to his left, delivers a strike to Morin. You're going to hear a lot from 5, 83, and 89 with Donovan Green out today.
Yep, and here is Beal-Smith again. Driving for a couple of yards. Micah Bland, junior from Male, or the two linebackers, beg your pardon, Etheridge and Avery on the stop. So 2nd down and 8 after a 2-yard run. And Beal-Smith trying to hesitate. Roddy, I want to go back to this read and ride here. Beal-Smith, when he takes the handoff, we're talking about holes they're looking for in the block game, but they've muddied the water enough, haven't they?
Yeah, Louisville's done a nice job up front of plugging some of these holes, and you see the offensive linemen, and talking to the coaching staff yesterday, they said, we teach the offensive line to stay on those double teams.
Hartman, another throw, this one out of bounds. Beyond Chapman, the tight end, who was over there. And a third down miss for Sam Hartman. Kennard in the neighborhood defensively for Louisville on Hartman. So here's Ivan Mora, who's had 4 straight games where he's averaged more than 40 yards a punt. And Rajay Burns averaging just about 3 yards a return. There haven't been many of them. Mora trying to angle it toward the far corner, and it'll be back up the field where the Cards will get started. 3:20 in at Louisville, no score.
Play right there, and here's the play action off of it. It makes it so tough, that naked boot off the play action.
There's a throw, and Louisville had a ton of stuff going on here. The ball got loose into the backfield, and they're going to call that a lateral. Dez Fitzpatrick ran it down. Jerry Magallanes is the referee today. And it was recovered by the offense. It started off the 20, and watch the play again here.
Well, let's take a look at where he releases his ball. Looks like his hand is right at around the 10-yard line, so it will look like it is correct. There's going to be a review on this. We'll take a look at it during the break. We'll update you on what the result is after we come back.
Our new house is amazing. Great street, huge yard.
There is a bit of an issue with our neighbor's fencing.
It was a fumble, Roddy, and it was confirmed. So it's 2nd and 28 for Louisville, and for the Cards, thank goodness Dez Fitzpatrick picked it up.
Yeah, and almost picks it up on his way just to grab the ball and get it to the ref. Louisville's lucky that he did it, or else it would have been a walk-in touchdown for Wake Forest. But look at the field pressure from Wake Forest, expecting that naked boot on the first play. It's the exact same first play that Louisville ran last year.
2nd down, 28. Cunningham from the end zone and throws, and the catch is made. And that is the tight end, Francis Sherman, because we got word before the game Ian Pfeiffer is not going to play today. So Francis Sherman, 44, the tight end on the field now for the Cardinals. Redshirt freshman from Bay Village, Ohio, by the way.
That's in addition to Cole Bentley, their starting center, being out, and Cam DeGeorge as well.
Yep. Here's Cunningham on 3rd and 17, and a keeper for the quarterback. And Cunningham will push it out to the 26-yard line. And after losing 18 before 18 yards on the first snap, Smenda may have saved a conversion by the Cardinals.
He certainly did, rallying back to the football. And with Bentley out, with DeGeorge out, no Atwell, no Javian Hawkins, no Ian Pfeiffer, the load is going to be shouldered by Malik Cunningham. You saw it there, Louisville putting the ball in the hands of their dynamic playmaker.
So here's the ball being snapped. The punter gets up with it, and moving with it is Harwell, and he'll be tackled back behind the 25-yard line. The Deacons collapse around the football. Blake Whiteheart, the tight end, who's on punt cover and punt return, makes the play after the bad snap.
The snap is low. Hartwell not able to handle it, has no choice but to tuck it and try and get it himself. A nice play by Wake Forest on the defensive side, being aware. Can you believe the first few plays for Louisville, though? You get a lateral that puts you way behind the chains. You eventually get decent field position, and then the fumbled punt snap, the bad punt snap, sets Wake Forest up with great field position.
Boy, I'd say so. The Deacons have the ball at the Louisville 25-yard line. Hartman on first down. Zips it to Roberson. And he'll pick up 7, almost 8 yards on the play. So the early break in the ball game goes to Dave Clawson's team. And it's a first down out to the down to the 13-yard line. 9.5 to go first period. And the Deacons trying to use the botch snap and play by Whiteheart, the tight end, here to see if they can cash it in. Beal Smith will pick up 2 yards. Well, Louisville had a bad throw on first down, Roddy. It was a backwards pass, and here we go with the turnover storyline that we thought might happen today.
Well, Wake Forest has only turned the ball over once this entire season, which is absolutely incredible. Louisville, on the other hand, 24 turnovers this year. You saw the difference in the turnover margin. And honestly, Wes, the turnovers are what's different for Louisville this season. Just the amount of times they have lost the turnover margin. The record is about the same when they lose it. They've just been super careless with the football this year.
2nd down and 8. Beal Smith again. Cracks down to about the 10. 3rd down coming up. C.J. Avery, the first guy in a red shirt to get there. The 29, Roddy, the -14 for Louisville, the +15 for Wake Forest. Largest in an ACC game in at least 15 years. The most in an FBS game since 2017, when San Jose State and Wyoming were something like 49, which is just insane. But what do you expect? It's the WAC, right? Mountain West stuff. Here is 3rd and 7. Deacons have been pretty steady. They're first in the ACC and 8th in the country in red zone. Here's Hartman for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown. Morin hauls it in. A great throw and a better catch on the back end for the touchdown.
Well, it looked like Russ Yeast, the Louisville safety, had a great shot at either picking this ball off or at least knocking it down, and Morin just picks it right off his head. That's a WRU candidate right there, Wes. Anytime you moss a dude in the back of the end zone, oh yeah, that's going to get Mark Packer and Wes Durham. That's going to make the show, I think.
8:04 to go, and the touchdown pass from Hartman to Morin gets Wake on the board early. Point after from Skiba is good. So the botch punt snap and the mishandle on special teams. It's not charted as a fumble or a turnover, Roddy, but it turns out to be like one, with Wake cashing in the score.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's going to feel like that.
Penalties decline. Try is good.
And the Deacons strike in 4 plays. Dave Clawson's team goes Satterfield, and his offensive coordinator Dwayne Ledford standing there on the sideline because the onus goes back to the Cards now after essentially a 3-and-out that featured a backwards pass and a botched punt snap, Roddy. Wake Forest took advantage. Another red zone trip. Deacons are 35 out of 37 now on the year in the red zone.
One of the best in the country once they get inside the 20. And the start for Louisville has certainly been one that Scott Satterfield's going to want to forget, as you see the tee blowing off the ball blowing off the tee. It's not windy where I am, Wes, but it must be windy there.
We'll check with Larisha since she's there in just a minute. Deacons to kick it away. Hassan Hall deep for the Ville. And he'll have a chance at the 9. And we'll get to the 25 and no more. And that's where Louisville's second possession will start. And let's check with Larisha. Pretty good start for the Deeks, who might have gotten a few less winks of sleep along the way.
You're right, Wes. We have seen them get off to a fast start here. We know that when talking to head coach Dave Clawson, he mentioned that it was going to be a concern because his guys, they haven't tackled in a month. Ball security was going to be a concern for them. And if they were actually up and ready for game speed, and as you can see, them getting on the board first, they seem pretty ready.
See what happens with the Deacon defense, who's down 2 of their bigger stars in the front today. And the first down carry belongs to Jalen Mitchell. And he's tackled on the play by Big Miles Fox. Fox, who had 7 total tackles, 3.5 behind the line in the Deeks' last 3 games before the pause in mid-November. So nowhere to go for the Cards offense on first down. That's Smith in motion. Cunningham. A 5-yard throw here to the near side. The catch made by Dez Fitzpatrick. He and his brother Christian starting today. Nice storyline for Louisville on senior day. Jasir Taylor on the cover for Wake Forest.
I'd expect number 7 to be pretty busy here today, Wes. When you talk about your biggest playmakers being out, and Atwell and obviously Hawkins having declared out earlier this season, I think 7's going to get a ton of work here in this one.
3rd down and 6 for the Cards against this Wake Forest front that brings a 5th guy through. Cunningham will be sacked, and there's Fox again. Pretty pronounced effort by Miles Fox, Roddy.
Yeah, and it looked like he beat the freshman center, Austin Collins. Watch right in the middle of your screen. Collins is going to slide out on Fox, just not able to handle it. Collins starting at center because Cole Bentley, was declared out early in the week. Cameron DeGeorge had been practicing at center. He was declared out in the middle of the week. So Austin Collins gets the start at center as a true freshman, a converted defensive lineman, and he's going to have to grow up quick here today.
Here's the punt for Harwell after back-to-back 3 and outs. Start the ball game for Louisville. And it will bounce out of bounds near the 39-yard line. Crowd not happy at all. The punter, Ryan Harwell, thought he might have been interfered with. Some of the partisans. Another look. Oh. Looked like Keyshawn Williams might have gotten away with one there, Roddy.
Yeah, and I believe the call on the field was that the punter was outside of the tackle box, so therefore would not be subject to the same rules that protect the kicker when he's in that box, when he's in a traditional formation, so no roughing the kicker.
Hartman wanted to run with it, it looked like, and will fire errantly, looking for A.T. Perry, who had a touchdown catch earlier this year against Virginia, but missed the last 2 ball games before the break in the schedule for Wake Forest that ended up lasting a month. So it's 2nd down and 10. On the perimeter, Roberson tracked down, got a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9. Nice play. Peterson off his defensive end spot out into space.
So far, this Louisville defense has done an excellent job on 1st down, stopping the run and creating these situations for Wake Forest. Now the question is, going to get off the field.
Hartman, straight drop with time, and throws it away over the top of Morin. Incomplete, so Wake's going to go 3 and out here.
And again, Wes, it goes back to that 1st down stop. They created the 2nd and long. They were able to rally on 2nd down. And then on 3rd and long, Hartman's got great protection, but Louisville's dropping 8. There's nowhere to go with the football, and he's a little bit high on the throw. Not sure that Morin would have had the 1st down anyway.
Character over there to make sure. So here's Ivan Mora to punt. And Rajay Burns, the return man for the Cards, wants everybody out of the way, and it will take a bit of a Louisville bounce right along the 30 and out of bounds, and that's where the Cards will start their 3rd possession. Don't forget, we got more ACC football coming up for you. 4 o'clock Eastern time. Off to Tallahassee we'll go for the Blue Devils and the Seminoles. Those teams have combined to lose their last 6, Roddy. And Florida State coming off a 28-day break, by the way, as well. Chris Cotter, Mark Herslick, Eric Wood at Doak Campbell Stadium. And then later tonight, ACC Network Primetime presented by Geico, the 102nd Commonwealth Cup game, the Wahoos and the Hokies, with Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Katie George, presented by Geico. And this is Jalen Mitchell on 1st down. Scratching out a couple of yards. And it'll be 2nd down and about 6 coming up. They were, Dwayne Ledford and Scott Satterfield really talked, Javian Hawkins, big-time star in this league, Roddy, no question. But they talked effusively about what they think Jalen Mitchell's ceiling could be here at Louisville in the running game.
He's a 221-pound redshirt freshman running back who's shown some ability in this outside zone scheme. He's got a bright future.
Here is Cunningham, quick throw to the near side. Dez Fitzpatrick, another catch, and finally brought to the ground. Jasir Taylor, the corner, hanging on for dear life out there against Fitzpatrick, who got up and told him you were just this close.
Right. Let him know. Let him know. Hey, if you didn't get that jersey, it's a house call.
Fitzpatrick. Oh my goodness. 1st down and 10 near midfield. Louisville's first 3rd down conversion of the day so far, after a pair of 3 and outs started the contest. And Mitchell spins away from a play in the backfield. And Deacons look like Chase Monroe, who played high school football with Sam Hartman at Davidson Day, might have had a shot here at a TFL.
Yeah, he saw Isaac Martin looked like he was supposed to account for Monroe. Monroe runs right by him, and just like Louisville, Wake's done a good job with the run game on 1st down.
Here's Fitzpatrick, and he got trapped that time by Taylor in the backfield. But they brought the guard Chandler out into space here, Roddy, on the screen game.
You're trying to find some way to take pressure off the battery there. Austin Collins and Joshua Black at center and right guard. Trying to take some pressure off and get some creative ways to put the ball in the hands of your playmakers. But Wake Forest has been up to the task so far. Dez Fitzpatrick now in the slot to the top of your screen. Let's see if they try and go to him.
Hassan Hall in the backfield for Cunningham. 3rd and a full 10 for the Cards. And Cunningham looking for Braden Smith. No flag on the play. The Louisville bench not happy with the no call. And it looked like the Deacon coverage was Kobe Davis.
I think that's a good no call. I'm not sure Braden Smith gets to that ball either way. Kobe Davis is flirting with danger there, but a good no call by the referees. Braden Smith wasn't getting there anyway.
Davis, yet another young guy, relatively speaking, for Wake Forest. 4th and 10 after the first down. The drive stalls near midfield. Here's the Harwell punt, and it will be fielded. And the Deacons will start right around the 10-yard line on Morin's gather. So 7-0 Wake Forest, the early miscue in the special teams game. Still the difference. There's Sam Hartman. I tell you, Roddy, we were talking about this during the week. The Wake Forest quarterback pedigree here in recent years often gets overlooked, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you go from John Walford in 2017 to Sam Hartman and Jamie Newman, then Jamie Newman and Sam Hartman, now to Hartman, those 4 years of quarterback consistency is something not very many schools outside of Clemson, South Carolina, and Charlottesville, Virginia have had over the last 4 seasons.
Throw to Roberson on the perimeter on 1st and 10, a couple of yards to the 14. You see Lovey Jenkins out of the secondary with Marlon Character on the play.
And going back to the quarterback conversation, Wes, you know, I mentioned those 2 schools just because of the consistency. With most other schools in the league, you can point to a year where the quarterback play just wasn't exactly up to par. Sam Hartman, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league.
And that throw for Roberson, defended again by Jenkins, true freshman from Orlando. 2.5 to go, Larissa. More on Sam Hartman.
As we're talking about just the quarterback situation, when we had the conversation with head coach Dave Clawson as well as the offensive coordinator, they both echoed the same sentiment, saying, you know, that Sam doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. He's one of the most underrated players and quarterbacks in the ACC. Here is Hartman on 3rd and 6. And underneath, Beal Smith tried to make the first guy miss. And, boy, Louisville did a nice job. C.J. Avery got Christian Beal Smith right around the legs and was able to stop him at the 20. So 4th down coming up. Roddy, when you look at the numbers, how do you put Sam Hartman in the pantheon of current ACC quarterbacks?
This is a really good quarterback league this year, so you have to preface it by saying that. But Sam Hartman's numbers don't speak to everything that he's done this season. He's doing it on an offense that really has 2 guys coming back around him. No receivers, most of the running back production gone, most of the offensive line production gone. So I put Sam Hartman up in the top half of the league for sure in terms of quarterbacks in the ACC.
Rajay Burns, a fair catch at the 42. Well, when we talk about Deacon quarterbacks, Roddy, interesting, we go back in time, but we also got to live in the world of reality television here, don't we?
Look, Wes, this is the most under-talked about story in the entire country. Tyler Cameron was Tyler C on the last season of The Bachelorette. It's the thing that we need to be talking about the most. I mean, when you look at reality stars, Wake already has one on their team. Sam Hartman was on QB1. He's a good-looking dude. Could he be the next Bachelor? This pipeline could continue, Wes. I'm telling you. He could be the Bachelor one day. Wake Forest has produced, as I've said, 2 contestants already, and it may continue for the future.
Only thing I can add to this conversation is down to Larissa in a moment for more on this apparently very hot topic involving Wake Forest football. 2nd and 10, not much there. As you see Wake Forest rally to the ball. Will Smart the stop, Larissa.
Well, I had the conversation about whether or not Sam Hartman should join this pipeline with a couple of fans today, and they agreed. They said he had the look, he has the hair, the beard, the poise. He could definitely add on to this and be a great candidate for the next Bachelor.
Oh, boy.
I mean, look, a lot of people say Tyler Cameron should have won, the former Wake Forest quarterback. Now you get an opportunity to see Matt James go through the whole thing as a receiver. I mean, Sam Hartman's had a better career at Wake than both of them.
Cunningham's going to be sacked. Wake gets into the backfield. Jaquarii Williams, fifth-year senior, steps in through the offensive line of Louisville and gets right to Malik Cunningham here.
He gets one-on-one against Hassan Hall and just wins in that pass pro. Jaquarii Williams exploding through the hole, tackling the quarterback. And without Boogie Basham, they're going to have to create some of these opportunities a little bit more. The one-on-ones with running backs and linebackers, and Williams able to win there.
Here's Harwell's punt. Morin will signal again for the fair catch. Watch it bounce, and it takes a big Louisville kick now inside the 20 and inside the 15. So Harwell down around the 12 here on one of the final plays of the first period. Well, while Roddy and Larissa were setting the table for the future of the Bachelor and Bachelorette series, and apparently auditioning Sam Hartman into the classification, I'd like to say that Louisville has also gone 3 and out in 3 of their first 4 possessions, Roddy.
Yeah, this was a 62-59 game last year. I'm not sure we expected 7-0 as we enter the end of as we get towards the end of the first quarter. But that's where we are. This Louisville defense has been content with stopping the run early and then dropping 8 on third downs, making it tough on Sam Hartman. And Wake Forest on defense has really gotten after this Louisville offense.
Justice Ellison has come into the backfield now. We see the backup to Christian Beal-Smith after news this week that Kenneth Walker is not with the team. And here is Ellison on his first carry, picking up 8 yards into the secondary. Rajay Burns makes the tackle with Josh Minkins, and that'll get us to the end of period 1 at Cardinals Stadium. 7-0 Wake 11, and planning for them, being meticulous, and we are confident we'll be ready. And I think college football will be ready, Mr. Hancock.
False start.
Another
Offense.
set of the rankings
Number
on
59.
Tuesday night.
5-yard
There's a
penalty.
false start.
Second down.
And second down coming up as we continue. Second quarter play here at Cardinals Stadium. And of course, the CFP exclusively on the ESPN family of networks. Roddy, I'm anxious to see kind of how this weekend and the next weekend play out in determining not just the 4, but also the rest of the New Year's 6 as well, as we get a look at Justice Ellison here on 2nd and 7. And Ellison powers across the 30 for a first down before Rajay Burns makes the tackle.
And this is the best first down play that Wake has had. You saw Justice Ellison exploding up the middle for that big gain. Now Wake is going to be able to get into some of their tempo and really stress this Louisville defense.
Low snap for Hartman. Trying to get away. Ball popped loose and recovered by Ellison, I believe. Diving for it at the 34. Deacons came within a whisker after Peterson jarred it loose. Wake almost had their second turnover of the year.
Well, when you turn the ball over this few times in a season, you need a little bit of luck on your side. You see Peterson coming from the bottom, is able to knock the ball out. And the football is shaped like a lemon, Wes, which means you never know which way it's going to bounce. Some years, all of those bounces go away from you. Wake is in one of those years where all of those bounces go towards their players.
Yeah, good point. Here's the Hartman throw, and incomplete. Looking inside for Morin. And then all of a sudden it becomes third down, Roddy. Very quickly, the Deacons have got a couple nice runs out of Ellison, the fumble, and then the incomplete ball. Here's 3rd and 8.
And on these 3rd and longs, Louisville's been perfectly content to only rush 3, drop 8, and make it really tough for Sam Hartman to find anyone to go to.
Hartman from dead in the pocket and almost intercepted. That was Monty Montgomery, the secret sauce of the Louisville defense. Almost came away with a pick, and it would have been the first of the year for Hartman.
Monty Montgomery's explosive. Watch him read the eyes of Sam Hartman as he comes back. He just drifts back to his left and almost picks that one off. Again, a little lucky. If Montgomery's a little bit more to his left, that's a pick. and he's got a lot of room to work with. So Wake continues its turnover-less streak, and Sam Hartman continues his streak without an interception.
6 plays and now a punt, and the Deacons have a chance. Can't make the save. Some kind of punt, though, with the win for Mora. Hartman now 5th all-time in the ACC without an interception. That one came within a whisker, 246 attempts. And Mora, a season-best 66-yard punt right there for the Deacs. And a career best as well for Ivan Mora, the redshirt freshman from Dalton.
The question here, Wes, is going to be what does Louisville go to get something going on the offensive side of the football? They're going to have to get Malik Cunningham involved in the run game more, either on naked boots, quarterback draws, just something to create some explosive plays.
Empty set for Cunningham, and now we get procedure.
False start, offense.
And the Cards
5-yard penalty.
going to take a procedure penalty of 5 yards. Roddy, you mentioned no Cole Bentley today, no Cam DeGeorge. So a new battery in there with Austin Collins, who is the 4th team center today for Malik Cunningham. You see the prowess of Louisville offensively. 5 straight games of 400 yards or more, 8 total this year. And Dwayne Ledford looks on here as his team has it 1st and 15, and there's another slow start and a busted play, and that's going to result in another penalty. Roddy, I guess my question is, Austin Collins is one thing, and then you push Josh Black into the lineup. That's an entirely different deal, right? You're 2 guys up front.
It certainly is. And, you know, when it's your center, you see Malik Cunningham and Marshawn Ford talking to Austin Collins in the middle.
Number 51, 5-yard penalty.
Because that ball was snapped during the shift. So there was some miscommunication on what the snap count was going to be. You see Ford moving up, the ball being snapped. Cunningham certainly wasn't ready for it, and you get the procedure penalty. It's been a rough start for this Louisville offense. You had the backwards pass that set them behind the sticks a couple of series ago, and they have not been able to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball.
Yep, and no big plays for the Cards, too.
Yep.
Straight ahead Mitchell, and he'll pick up a couple to the 15. Tackle made by Monroe. So we get Chase Monroe in the mix today, redshirt junior. 3 tackles against both Virginia and Virginia Tech earlier this year, but Wake Forest is, we told you 20 minutes before the ball game, we found out that Carlos Boogie Basham, Suleiman Kamara would not be playing on that Deacon defensive front today. Here is Mitchell trying to get to the edge on the boundary side, and he'll be shoved out again. Monroe over there for Wake Forest, along with J.J. Roberts, a young freshman from Hurricane, West Virginia, playing in his 7th game of the year for the Deacs.
There's nothing in the playbook for a 3rd and long like this. Again, you know, I mentioned it on first down. It looked like they were going to go to it. Malik Cunningham is going to be the guy who keeps you in this game. Getting him involved in the run game, maybe not here, but down the line is going to be of the utmost importance.
Going to cut it loose on 3rd down, and it is offline. Dez Fitzpatrick, closest guy there for Louisville. Kalen Carson, respectively, for Wake Forest. And Roddy, the 3rd 3 and out, or the 4th 3 and out in 5 possessions now for the Cards in this first half.
It's been a rough go. There's no way around it. And I think the mistakes that have shot themselves in the foot are going to be the most frustrating. The bad snap on the punt, the miscommunications that created the procedure penalties. That's the stuff that Scott Satterfield's going to be the most frustrated with.
Harwell's punt toward Morin at the 45 of Wake. And the first down throw from Hartman across the way toward the wide receiver A.T. Perry is out of bounds, so it'll be 2nd and 10. And here is Beal Smith bouncing outside, and Christian Beal Smith taking 2-3 red shirts to the first down at the Louisville 45-yard line. Yasir Abdullah was trying to get there, and Okiki as well. There's Nick Okiki. Christian Beal-Smith's got the old adage, runs behind his pads, Roddy.
Yeah, he does. He's tough to bring down.
Hartman. And angled out of bounds after a yard or two. Monty Montgomery chasing across the way. Second and 8 for Wake Forest. Hartman. And tried to fire it to Perry across the middle. Marlon Character there in coverage. So third down coming up. All right. First half. Time for today's trivia question. 2016 Pitt and Syracuse combined for the most points in an ACC game with 137. What was the second highest scoring game in ACC history? Answer in a moment. Roddy, were you a part of the 137, by the way? Were you a part of the Syracuse game?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I was there. Yep. Let's just say Pat Narduzzi was the winning coach, was not happy. Not happy after the game.
Third down and 8. Hartman deep and overthrows Perry. Isaiah Hayes in coverage. And I tell you what, after pretty good field position,
the initial stop, the initial curl would have been open. Isaiah Hayes was giving a big cushion to A.T. Perry, and Perry just not able to get over the top of him. That ball falls incomplete. Had they gone to the initial curl right at the sticks, it would have been wide open for a first down.
Wake Forest here 3 for 8 on third down. Here's Moore to punt. And that ball will bounce into the end zone right between two Deeks. And well, let's go back to last October, Roddy. Truist Field in Winston-Salem, and Hassan Hall hesitates, and next thing you know, he houses one from 100 yards. And that put Louisville up 21-7, but that was really only the beginning of the story.
This was an incredible game. Malik Cunningham gets hurt. Evan Conley comes in. This salted the game away, and Louisville wins 62-59 in a game that they needed all that they could get from the offense, the defense, the special teams. Everybody contributed, and we've got a completely different game this year.
And no defensive coach was happy again. And speaking of Hall, Hassan Hall with one of the best plays of the day so far for the Cardinal offense on first down, Roddy.
Absolutely. And Nick Anderson's been a great story this year. Saves a touchdown. You get an inside zone here. Hassan Hall gets through a big hole, and it was he and Anderson up the middle. Anderson makes the tackle, or else that one would have gone for 6.
Sure. Best play of the day for the Cardinals. And here's Cunningham on the keeper, trying to find a seam, steps through a couple, and will reach the 45 for another first down. Well, and you know what? They say timing's everything. Now for today's trivia question answer, Roddy. If Pitt and Syracuse is the most points in an ACC game with 137, what's the second highest scoring game? Aha. A year ago in Winston-Salem. 121 for the Cards and the Deeks. 62-59, and there's a whistle and a flag. And is this the third procedure? Yeah.
5-yard penalty, first down.
3 of those, right, Roddy?
Yep.
Here in the first half.
We had him on back-to-back plays on the last drive, and then you get that one on Caleb Chandler. As you get a look at some of the stats from last year's game, 1,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, 121 points. What a difference a year, some opt-outs, and some injuries can make.
And now we get another movement. This will be the 4th procedure, if you will, false start, same variety type, systems penalty. All 4 have come on the Louisville offense. 4th on the Cards. They're all the same. And again, we tell you about Bentley and DeGeorge not being there. Austin Collins, 51. The 4th string center is starting today. They've plugged Josh Black in at the right guard spot to spell DeGeorge. DeGeorge was going to play center because they knew that Bentley couldn't play. And there's a throw and a catch. Grab made by Jordan Watkins, by the way, near the 45-yard line. Let's go to Larisha, who's bringing us up to speed on this Austin Collins. Larisha?
When I had the opportunity to talk to Malik Cunningham, I asked him what was the conversation between himself and Collins, and he told me, hey, I just told him, play your game, trust your instincts, do what it is that you do best. And we saw them on the sideline give each other a little bit of encouragement, as well as others on the offensive line.
All right, well, Collins has got his hands full today, and you saw that time Isaiah Chaney bust through. Redshirt freshman from Cartersville, Georgia. Former Fighting Purple Hurricane there, Roddy.
You know a little bit about the Fighting Purple Hurricanes. Living up in Cartersville, Georgia.
Not as much as my wife, who was a proud Fighting Purple Hurricane, but yes, you're right.
But Louisville is 0 for 5 on their third downs. This one a 3rd and 11. It's been tough for Malik Cunningham to have much time to do anything because of the absences on that offensive line.
Here's Cunningham trying to slide it upfield. Fitzpatrick the catch. First down and more. Down the far sideline goes Dez Fitzpatrick. And now Louisville's got a little offensive momentum built at the Wake 29. Kobe Davis, the tackle after a 27-yard throw.
And this time the offensive line does a nice job of sorting out a twist, gives Malik Cunningham some time. And Dez Fitzpatrick, one of the best receivers in the ACC, has been the past couple of seasons, dangerous with the ball in his hands. I expect Malik Cunningham to continue to go to 7, especially in these crucial third down situations. And he's a guy that just continues to make plays.
So let's see what Louisville can do in a 7-0 ball game. Cunningham looking for the end zone and caught. Fitzpatrick, first and goal around the 1. Roddy, he's throwing it in the wind, and Fitzpatrick stays with it.
Well, watch the route. Fitzpatrick's going to go inside, try and get in between these safeties and then up the field. And Malik Cunningham actually hangs this one up a little bit. As you said, may have gotten caught in the wind, but 7's going to go up and get the ball when it's in the air. Dez Fitzpatrick is exciting to watch on those 50-50, if you will, balls. And Dez Fitzpatrick has always been good at it, and he proves it there again. They're going to move him around and find ways to get the ball around number 7.
First and goal, and Cunningham kept it. No gain on the play. And second and goal coming up.
This is Marshawn Ford territory. Malik Cunningham likes to go to the tight end, number 83. 5 touchdowns on the year. They like to try and get Cunningham outside on these bootlegs. Typically, they'll either try and go to Atwell or Ford. With Atwell out, let's say find 83, and if they go to the pass game, and watch where he goes because the ball's going there.
You see they go 2 tights to the left here. Cunningham going to pitch this. It's a foot race to the corner, and Hall will win for the Louisville touchdown.
Well, he makes it looks like it's going to be zone read. Hassan Hall just takes off on the sweep play, and pitch it out to him, and you're able to leverage the defense. It's a nice play design. The linebackers are watching the fake as if it's going to be zone read. They come to Malik Cunningham when he just pitches it outside to Hassan Hall, who's got the burners to make the foot race to the end zone.
First rush
on the launch pad and finally got off of it on that last drive.
Nice.
80 yards for a touchdown.
Really?
14 yards in the first 5 drives. Yeah, it was sloppy. It was a sloppy transition from the space program to their last drive. But I tried.
Well,
I tried.
Yeah. Why didn't you just say blast off while you were there? I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Short kick. It'll be fielded and coming back across the 25 to the 30-yard line is Christian Beal-Smith for Wake Forest. So we're tied at 7. And don't forget, New Year's Day is where you want to be. Rose Bowl at 5, All-State Sugar Bowl at 8:45. The top 4 in the play for college football's national championship. Roddy, here's the interesting thing for Wake Forest. You had a 7-0 lead. We talked about Louisville's 3 and outs. Wake has run 11 plays in their last 2 possessions, but also ended up punting. You talked about the improvement we've seen out of the Louisville defense from last year to this year. Card defense has played okay here today right now.
No, I would say the Card defense has played well. They've only given up the 1 touchdown, and that was on a very short field.
Here's Roberson keeping his feet on first down, driving it to the 48 before Avery makes the tackle. Another good first half for Jaquarii Roberson of Wake Forest.
Yeah, this Louisville defense has done the improvement by not giving up chunk plays like that one. Really the first one that Wake's had.
Hartman overthrows Morin with Chandler Jones there in coverage for the Cards.
And just look at the improvement on this Louisville defense. Total yards allowed. They go from 13th last year to 5th in the conference this year. Yards per play, they go from 13th to 8th. I mean, it's been incredible for Brian Brown in this Louisville defense. The improvement that they've seen in the season that hasn't gone Louisville's way.
Yeah, Lovie Jenkins to stop Beal Smith, one of his best runs of the day. Deacons trying to answer the Louisville TD drive now with under 6 to go in this first half. Game 1 of 3 today on ACC Network for you. Here is Christian Beal Smith slipping on the cut and down to the 32, Larissa.
What's the credit for his defensive effort, and he took me to a conversation that he had with his players after a Georgia Tech game this year, and he said he just asked them what was going on, what are you guys doing, and basically after that they decided to go back to the fundamentals. They went back to tackling and to putting forth full-blown effort, and he said that's the credit for them with their improvement every game. They went back to the fundamentals, and so now that mentality is there for his players.
It's paid off since that loss in Atlanta on a Friday night. Quick throw to A.T. Perry, ruled out of bounds again. Second time Perry has trapped himself on a sideline in this first half on a catch.
Yeah, it feels like he's just lacking awareness when he gets towards that sideline or where those feet come in. I don't know, Liz. I actually think that was a catch. I think that left foot came down first.
And another quick throw. And all of a sudden, Wake Forest has found themselves to 3rd and the full 10 here.
And Wake Forest tempo kind of worked against them there. I think if they'd had more time, they may have gotten that last play reviewed. But they've got this Louisville defense scrambling with the substitutions. Don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, Deeks 3 for 8 on 3rd down. Hartman straight back. Cuts it loose and overshoots Perry again. Marlon Character in the neighborhood. And now 4th down with 5:03 to go. And here comes Nick Skiba to try and put Wake back in the lead.
It was the best drive for Wake Forest, but just stalls out. Sam Hartman not able to follow through on that throw because of the pressure around him. It sails high. You see the disappointment from Hartman and missing the open receiver.
45-yard try for Skiba. 46 his longest of the year. 5th best scorer in the ACC. Kick away.
I mean, that is some quality gear there. You're going to wear a mask, make it look good.
Yeah, and Louisville, last time they were at home, rocked those throwback jerseys. Those were clean.
Yeah.
And the Cards trailing 10-7. Always great fans when you come to Derby City for ACC football or basketball, or whatever. Just great support here. Here is the kick. And Hassan Hall will wave it off. Cards will start from their 25. Roddy, these fans a week ago not particularly happy with their football coach when word got out about a reported meeting with Scott Satterfield in South Carolina. He apologized, issued a letter to season ticket holders, and it brought back some bad memories, quite frankly, for Louisville fans.
It certainly did, but the players really rallied around Scott Satterfield. I mean, they had a number of different statements, tweets in public, issuing support for their head coach. And look, time heals all wounds, as they say, but Louisville's been burned in the past. And ultimately, wins are going to be the thing that propels Scott Satterfield back into the good graces.
First down play, And here goes Mitchell breaking free. Jalen Mitchell in a foot race with Kalen Carson to get to the end zone, and he makes it to the 5. Big time run by Mitchell.
Big time blocks by the offensive line up front. You know, we've talked about what they're missing on the interior, but the inside zone, they just wash the entire right side of the line down, opens up a massive hole, and Jalen Mitchell, you got to get the piano off your back once you cross the 20 and finish that run that gets him inside the 5-yard line and sets Louisville up in great position to take the lead in this game.
Huge run, 70 yards for Mitchell. And now 1st and goal for the Cards. Boy, look at this package. That's Smith in motion, and a timeout being taken by Louisville.
Louisville, their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Scott Satterfield wants to talk. Larissa gives us a chance to follow up on what Roddy mentioned a moment ago, and that was the voices of support from the current players for the head coach in the midst of the aftermath last weekend.
Yeah, so many players were very, very supportive. Malik Cunningham, one of them, telling me that Coach is a very honest guy, and he actually thought the media was bashing Coach in a sense and asked if they could just take it lightly because Coach has been nothing but truthful and honest. That also came from Trey Clark and James Turner and even Dorian Etheridge. They all echoed the same sentiment, saying that Coach has been nothing but open and honest, and he's a very stand-up guy and a guy who is one who keeps his word. So a lot of support coming from current players and former players as well.
Roddy, as a player, Scott Satterfield, tumultuous week, especially publicly, press conferences, those type things. As a player, and to a degree a coach, we'll ask you after this first down play. Out of the Louisville timeout, here's Cunningham. The Cards in front. Back-to-back touchdown drives now for Satterfield's team.
Well, I love this play call because you go with the tight end to the right side, creating an unbalanced formation, run back to the nub side with the tight end, with your H-back and your running back leading. Malik Cunningham's able to find a seam and dive into the end zone, and you can see the excitement on that sideline. It's been a tough week, as you said. You've had a lot of news coming out, a lot of stuff going on around the program. A bad start, and yet they're able to take the lead in this football game.
You get the Cunningham touchdown run, which is his 7th of the year, by the way. Roddy, the point, I guess, is players and coaches are the ones, that's the most important relationship for success in a football program. How much does that presence on social media mean to Scott Satterfield when it's been as turbulent as maybe it's been the last 8 days?
Well, as Scott Satterfield told us, he has not been on social media, so I'm not even sure he's aware of the public support, or he was aware until we told him of what his guys had tweeted out. But I think it's incredibly important. And look, you have to realize what these players have been through from a coach standpoint. The previous regime was completely different from this one. These guys love Scott Satterfield and what he's brought to this place, and he has been completely honest with them from everything that we have heard. So the feeling in the building seems to be, hey, look, Coach may have gotten caught in something that is very complicated and probably doesn't look great, but they truly believe that this is where he wants to be and that he truly cares about them, which is the most important thing.
Well, and the Cards have rebounded not only there, but they've rebounded in this ball game to take a 4-point lead. And short kick is handled here by Beal Smith, and he will dance through the 25 and again right around the 30-yard line when he's brought down. Cards, by the way, 75 rushing yards on their last 2 snaps after having just 10 yards on their first 16 snaps today. And a second quarter again's provided magic for Satterfield's team. They've now outscored opponents 127-50 in the second quarter this year. Roddy?
It's incredible. And it shows the ability to make adjustments on both the offensive and defensive side of the football. A lot of times that first quarter's feeling it out. Second quarter is when you settle in and make those adjustments.
So Sam Hartman's got Justice Ellison with him now. Ellison taken down in the backfield, and that's Rajay Burns. Another big play, the senior from Trinity High School in Louisville.
Rajay Burns is going to come off the right side. He's unblocked and just tackles Ellison in the backfield. It's really felt like Brian Brown, the defensive coordinator from Louisville, has had a really good bead on when Wake Forest is going to run the football and been able to stop it really well.
Ellison on second down battles across. Rajay Burns another tackle. Boy, Justice Ellison's done a nice job, Roddy. He came into the ballgame, had 6 carries against Syracuse for 16 yards, 5 for 27 against the Campbell Camels. And there's a throw, Roberson a catch. That'll be another first down just ahead of 3 minutes to go. And now all of a sudden the Deacons starting to find a little momentum.
We're able to find Roberson on that third down going underneath, and that's what they're going to have to be content with. Louisville saying, hey, look, we're not going to give up the big play. We'll give you the passes underneath.
Hartman resets and looking for Roberson, who was in hand-to-hand with Dorian Etheridge.
It's been kind of a fun chess match to watch between the Wake Forest offense and the Louisville defense. Louisville has had such success stopping the run on first down. They anticipated pass on that one. Press coverage, carrying up the middle, and able to create the incompletion.
And that ball is caught by Brandon Chapman. He's wrestled down Monty Montgomery, who had a big play earlier in the half for the Cards, and forces another third down. Clock rolling here, late second quarter. Big third down for the Deacons. Hartman had it broken and intercepted. Monty Montgomery, who then laterals the ball. Russ Yeast in the open field, tackled at around the 37-yard line of Wake Forest. First interception of the year for Hartman. Second turnover of the year for Wake Forest.
Hartman visibly frustrated with what happened on that play. The throw's just a little high for Roberson, who's not able to bring it in. It bounces around, and Monty Montgomery comes up with it. We talked a little bit about the fact that when you have those streaks of no turnovers, you have to have some luck. The ball's been in danger now. This is the third time for Wake Forest. And finally, this Louisville defense, which hasn't been great at creating turnovers, only their 11th turnover this season that they've created, their 11th takeaway, finally gets one into their hands.
Oh, and Hartman frustrated. It looked like Chandler Jones got a hand in there and then finally deflected into the hands of Montgomery, who then lateraled to Yeast. The guts of a gambler there. And by the way, we have Marlon Character shaken up on the play for Louisville. But meanwhile, the first interception of the year for Sam Hartman snaps the interception-less streak. And now Louisville, Roddy, after a sluggish start offensively, takes over here with 2:25 to go on the interception. And in Wake territory at the 37. And not a lot there on first down for Hall.
I think you have to give a ton of credit in this game to the Louisville defense and what they've done against an explosive Wake Forest offense. And given their offense time to kind of figure out what's going on. This has always been an explosive unit, no matter who's back there for Louisville. But Dez Fitzpatrick really powered them a couple of series ago. You had the big run from Jalen Mitchell on the last series. And that's allowed them to take the lead.
Here goes Hall. Runs right into Smenda, bounces off of him, and then forward. Hassan Hall driving down toward about the 31-yard line or so. We'll see how they spot this.
And Wes, we talked to Lyle Hemphill, the defensive coordinator for Wake, about sort of their game plan a year ago. And he mentioned they had a lot of success against that outside zone that we talked about at the top, the stretch play. So Louisville went to the inside zone. That's where they've had the most success here today as well.
Cunningham looping it down the field and caught. Braden Smith. And it'll be a catch inside the 5 around the 2.
Let's take a look and see if he gets his feet in. This one's going to be close. Secured. Oh, I think that left toe comes down on the line. This one's going to be reviewed. And I think it's going to come back, but what a great route by Braden Smith, and almost completes that. I think it's going to come back, though, after the first review that we saw, after the first replay.
So we will hold here at Cardinals Stadium while they review this.
Watch his left foot. The right foot clearly in, but, well, the question is, does that right toe come down with the ball secured before the left one does? The left foot, clearly the toe comes in out of bounds, but there's a toe tap on the right foot, that trailing foot that may have gotten down before the left foot comes down out of bounds.
I don't know, Rod.
Well, we couldn't see the right foot on that one.
It was, remember now, called a catch. That's the other thing.
It was called a catch on the field.
Mike Griffin, our director, Thomas Morrissey, our producer, trying to give everybody looking on here the replay booth at Cardinal Stadium, the Master Operations Center for ACC Football at the conference offices in Greensboro.
Watch that right foot. So if you watch the right foot, the ball's coming in. He's got it secured. Now the right toe looks like it touches the ground before that left one comes down.
Right.
This may give us a good look. The right foot, boom, hits. You can see it bounce off the turf. That left one comes down, and the heel's in bounds, but the toe is out. This one's going to be bang, bang. I think I would let it stand just because the timing of those 2 feet and the call on the field was a catch.
All right, now you have always been kind of at the forefront of these interpretations and evaluations, especially as it relates to targeting. We sat in that room 2 summers ago and watched guys for a couple hours go at it on this stuff. This is one of those in that room, right?
And ultimately, there are people making these decisions, so it's going to come down to some judgment there. And you're looking for indisputable video evidence either way.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called.
The ruling on the field stands as called.
And
somebody
the reason
was found not to be happy, by the way.
The reason it stands is because of that right foot.
Right.
You have to have indisputable video evidence that the right foot did not come down prior to the left foot coming down out of bounds, and there was not there. There was enough to dispute to let that play stand. I think it's a good call by the officiating crew.
29-yard throw. Braden Smith, a great catch. First and goal, the Cards with 73 seconds to go. Low snap. They hand it to Hall, and Hassan Hall gets turned around right at the point of impact. Jaquarii Johns, the big 250-pound defensive end, redshirt sophomore from Cartersville, Georgia, in there again for the Deacs.
30-second timeout.
So second and goal coming up. We get a quick timeout. Good chance for us to remind you there's more ACC football ahead. After the ball game today, we'll send you to Tallahassee for Duke and Florida State. 8 o'clock tonight, ACC Primetime Football presented by Geico. The Commonwealth Cup with the Cavaliers and the Hokies. By the way, Virginia Tech needs a win, Roddy, to avoid their worst record since 1977 when they went 3-7-1.
Wow.
Cavaliers 5-4. Last year, Bryce Perkins had 475 yards of total offense for the Cavaliers in that thrilling victory for Bronco Mendenhall's team at Charlottesville. That comes up tonight. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, Katie George. Even with the limited number of folks in attendance, should still be a really, really physical football game. Out of the timeout, here's Hall again, and Wake. Did Hall get in? He did. I thought he got smashed at the line of scrimmage, and Hassan Hall was able to bound into the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the day. And Louisville's third, Roddy, in about the last 5 minutes and change.
Well, what a difference the first and second quarters make for Louisville. There's nothing there to say that he was on the ground prior to busting into the end zone, so that stands. And I think it's important. Louisville took a timeout before that last play, which preserved about a minute left on the clock for Wake Forest, who has all 3 of their timeouts. So plenty of time for Wake Forest to operate and be able to get a score if they can get something going. But that Louisville timeout actually helped Wake Forest because it left more time on the clock and allowed them to preserve all of their timeouts. Although the most important thing in that situation is obviously to get the ball in the end zone.
5 plays, 37 yards in 1:21, the time of the drive. And here is the point after from Turner. And how about that? So the Hall touchdown run makes it an 11-point Cardinal lead. And Roddy, what a difference a quarter makes for Scott Satterfield's team.
And to be honest with you, this Louisville defense has only given up the touchdown on the short field after the bobble punt. I mean, other than that, it's really been fantastic so far in this game. You see the first quarter, negative 22 yards rushing, 29 pass yards. That's 7 total yards, Wes. I did the quick math there. 7 total yards in the first quarter. I am not going to attempt to do the math in the second quarter. I think I'm going to embarrass myself. But let's just say over 200 yards in the second half. Completely different.
Amazing transformation. 3 touchdowns in essentially about 5 minutes and 42 seconds of game time. Hartman's first interception of the year, by the way, has produced a touchdown. An 11-point lead. And with just ahead of a minute to go, we get a whistle blow as the ball is kicked away.
We'll reset. The ball fell off the tee before it was kicked.
And Brock Travelstead will bring it back, and they'll sort it out again.
Well, when Wake gets the ball back here, Wes, obviously the most important thing is going to be getting something going, but they've got plenty of time. A minute 4 left. They'll have either a little bit over or a little bit under a minute left on the clock. With all 3 timeouts, the run game's in play, everything in the playbook, at least at the beginning of this drive, is going to be open to them. The most important thing, though, is that first down and getting going.
Yep. And the kick by Travelstead. And Wake Forest handles it on the return here. Deacons working to the perimeter with Keyshawn Williams. And that's where they'll go with 57 seconds left. Dave Clawson's got all 3 timeouts remaining, by the way, for Sam Hartman. And the ball will be spotted for play right at the 30-yard line.
And this is a Wake offense that already,
by the way, for Wake Forest here in this first half.
Yeah, incredible. This is a Wake Forest offense that already can go at warp speed, so this is going to be no different for them. Going with 3 receivers into the boundary. Taylor Morin, one-on-one down to the bottom.
See what Hartman does following his first pick of the year. From the pocket, now flushed. And he'll throw it into the bench area. Took out a Gatorade cooler and a dozen cups or so. It'll be 2nd and 10.
You know, this Louisville defense has really had the number of Wake Forest on offense. That time they looked like they were going to go with the 1 high safety look and give Taylor Morin some room down to the bottom of the screen in the one-on-one. But they go with the cover 2 look and really muddy things up to the boundary and give Sam Hartman nowhere to go with the ball.
Hartman going to try again. And that time, looking down the far side. Sam
now
Hartman
you got to start. Now
really
you got to start looking at it.
Roddy.
You got to start looking at it from the other way. I mean, there's 45 seconds left. Louisville's got 2 timeouts. Does Wake Forest dare to throw another pass and try and get the first down? Because Louisville gets the ball first, or gets the ball in the second half as well. So what is Wake Forest going to go with here? Do they try and dry out those timeouts, or do they go ahead and throw the ball?
No, they're going to throw it. It looks like Hartman now flushed here to the left. trying to get something going and overshoots Morin, incomplete. So 3 and out go the Deacs with 37 seconds left. And now Scott Satterfield with those 2 timeouts, and the clock stopped. And Roddy, the interesting part is now Mora will have the wind at his back. He had a 66-yarder earlier in this period. Good snap, good punt. And Louisville's going to let it bounce. And the clock continues to run, and out of bounds it goes around the 17-yard line with 27 seconds left. So Scott Satterfield gets his choice here. It's been quite a second quarter for his Louisville team. Didn't look particularly good. In fact, the Cards went 3 and out on 4 of their first 5 possessions, Roddy. Their first 5 drives, 17 plays for 14 yards. Their last 4 drives, 14 plays, 192 yards. So they found the offensive button here. And now how aggressive do you want to be going to the locker room with this lead of 11 points?
Well, Ivan Mora gets a lot of credit for flipping the field here. I think had that ball been caught around the 30, you probably push the gas a little bit and see what you can get. Now I expect Louisville to hand the ball off. If you get a big game, then maybe you bang a timeout and you continue to try and score. But other than that, you're just going to be happy to take him to the locker room.
Jalen Mitchell trying to get the run game going, and big Miles Fox wraps him up. And that likely will be the final play of the first half. Yep, Cards are just going to head to the locker room. So 1 play and let the clock run out, and that's what Louisville will do. Quite a turnaround for Satterfield's team, though, Roddy. Quite
it absolutely was. Yeah, I mean, you look at the way this game started, and then everything that could have gone wrong seemed like it did. And then the defense just battled and battled and battled, kept the offense in the game, and allowed them to sort of find their footing with the young offensive line, the replacements in skill positions, and they completely turned it around.
Let's go downstairs to Larissa with Coach Satterfield.
Coach, you guys settled in the second quarter. What's the credit for that shift after a sluggish first quarter?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're trying to work some kinks out. We started 6 freshmen today on offense and gave up some pressures and some sacks early in the first quarter. Kind of settled in there in the second quarter. Our defense is playing good. You know, we put them in a bind in the first quarter with the muff punt or whatever. I mean, bad snap there. But I think overall, the defense kept us in the first quarter. Offense came alive in the second quarter.
What was your reaction to Montgomery's interception?
That was awesome. You know, we want to win the turnover about margin today. You know, coming into this game, you know, Wake was #1 in the country. We were like 3rd to last. So, you know, we win in the second half. I feel like we got a good chance to win it.
Thank you.
Malik Cunningham, like I said, 7 total yards of offense in the first half for Louisville, 208 total yards in that second quarter. Dez Fitzpatrick with the catch, hauls it in. Good field position here, deep in the red zone. 2 plays later, Cunningham, keeper, dives, touchdown.
On Wake Forest, great to be with Roddy Jones and Larissa Harris this afternoon. Game 1 of our ACC Network tripleheader. Roddy, and it's a first half really punctuated by big plays from Louisville in the second quarter after they were trailing 7-0.
Yeah, after that, this second quarter really got going with the long Dez Fitzpatrick play. Before this one, he converted a big 3rd down. Then they go up top to him, and he's able to come down with a jump ball. That really got them going for their first touchdown. Then you get Jalen Mitchell up the middle, exploding for a big 70-yard run. Gets them down close to the end zone. They were able to punch it in there. And then the defense came to play. This defense had been fantastic all game, but they create the turnover, get the interception of Sam Hartman. This team, this Wake Forest team, that's their first interception of the season thrown. That led to the 3rd touchdown. Scott Satterfield has to be really proud, especially of his defense in this game, that kept him in it early while the offense struggled. Then the offense was able to create some plays in the second quarter, and the defense brought its lunch pail as well, creating the turnover.
Well, and you see the difference in 15 minutes of play, the first and the second for Scott Satterfield's team. The other issue becomes big plays. Only 3 of them beyond 10 yards in the first period, 7 in the second quarter, and the last 4 were 29, 70, 28, and 27. That's the kind of stuff that they're used to here when Satterfield's offense is up and humming. Took a little time to get maybe lined up and ready to go, and he indicated that with Larissa as our second half starts, and the Cards ironically get the ball to start the half. There'll be no return of the kick. and Louisville will start from its 25-yard line. And when you talk about the numbers, Malik Cunningham, 8 of 11, 123. Remember now, the first play of the game was an illegal forward pass that was thrown behind, illegal backward pass, I should say, resulted in an 18-yard loss. But Cunningham kind of rescued a little bit in the throw game, Roddy. 123 yards on 11 attempts. That's a pretty nice yards per throw.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big plays to Dez Fitzpatrick have really been the story there. But this offensive line settling in and finding success with that inside zone play has really gotten this offense going as well. So it looks like the wind's blowing so hard the ball was rolling on that one.
Yep. So the wind whipping through Cardinal Stadium here, and you see the streamer on the top of the goalpost, first down give, and this is Mitchell, who had the big 70-yard run. He gets about 7 on first down here. Second down coming up, and let's check with Larissa Harris.
I was able to talk to head coach Dave Clawson, and I asked him, was fatigue an issue when it came down to the play that we saw from his players in the first half? And he said, no, they are a little tired, but that's no reason for what took place. He said the key to being better this second half is converting on third downs, tackling better, meaning completing their tackles, and also just finding an offensive flow. They have to get that thing moving.
Pistol set here for Louisville on second and short. Cunningham going to keep first down and more, and it's going to be Jaquarii Williams that rides him out of bounds over in front of the Deacon bench after a good run for Malik Cunningham here. 15 yards, Roddy.
We usually see that outside zone play as the staple of this Louisville offense, but the inside zone and the triple option look off of it is something that Louisville went to last year against Wake Forest, and they brought it back this year and found some success. As Larissa said with Dave Clawson, they're going to have to make plays. Tackling is going to have to be one of those things as well, because we've seen a couple missed tackles on the last couple plays.
Straight ahead, and this is Mitchell again. And Jalen Mitchell will push it to the Deacon 45.5-yard line. And Louisville kind of off and running, picking up from where they left off, you might think.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And the fact that Malik Cunningham hasn't had to shoulder the load in the run game like it looked like he was going to have to early is big. And Jalen Mitchell, I think we're seeing the emergence of maybe the next guy at that running back position. Hassan Hall is a good player, but Jalen Mitchell from a running back standpoint just looks more the part, looks more comfortable running this zone scheme.
Yep. And here is Mitchell again trying to find a seam on the left side. He'll have enough for the first down. Jaquarii Johns wrapped him up for Wake Forest. Well, the one aspect about this is, and you start thinking about the momentum the Cards built in the second quarter, Wake Forest will have to find a way to build their own momentum offensively, Roddy. And you mentioned this late in the first half. The touchdown they got was off a miscue in the punt game for Louisville. And outside of that, Wake Forest has gotten the Skiba field goal on a 9-play drive about midway the second period of play, and that kind of, you're looking maybe for Wake Forest to kind of find the momentum that Louisville found in quarter 2 here when they get the ball back. But right now they got to get the Cards off the field, and Mitchell and Cunningham are just running it right at them.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this is the Wake's first game since November 14th. I mean, they had a couple of games postponed. They had to pause activities in the program. They had some shuffling. And then they had an issue getting to Louisville. They got on the plane yesterday. Were supposed to take off at 2:30. Their first plane had some issues. They walked a mile to a hotel. We did the coaches' interviews while they're sitting in the hotel, scrambling with meetings. They had to walk a mile back to a plane. That got delayed. They got to Louisville around 9 o'clock last night. Didn't get to the hotel until 10:30. This is a Wake Forest team that's dealt with an incredible amount of adversity.
And there is Mitchell pushing the first down stick on the tackle by Smenda. And Louisville is just kind of lining up and finding some confidence, especially for Austin Collins at fourth team center, who drew the start today with Cole Bentley sideline. Cam DeGeorge also out of the lineup as well. And for Montgomery, Alabama's Malik Cunningham, just the momentum of getting stuff done offensively in the second quarter has carried over to the opening drive of this second half.
You got to ask yourself, how much does Wake Forest miss Boogie Basham and Suleiman Kamara on the defensive line as well?
Yeah, good point there. Here's Mitchell trying to spin for more, and he got brought down by Jaquarii Johns, big number 4 there to be the first Deacon to arrive. And so all of a sudden, Louisville now finds itself in 2nd and long. There's a look at Carlos Boogie Basham. Roanoke, Virginia, 45 career games, 36.5 tackles for loss, 20.5 sacks, and about 20 minutes before kickoff, it was announced he would be unavailable today. He did come out and warm up early today and then was announced as unavailable. Here's Cunningham on that bootleg play, Roddy, you talked about, got the ball away, and the catch is made. And our first look at Marshawn Ford in the open field for the Louisville first down.
Wake Forest did a nice job of containing the quarterback, making Malik Cunningham pull up, but he's able to dump the ball to his tight end that becomes more and more one of his favorite targets the closer they get to the end zone. We haven't seen that play action naked boot very much because they haven't gone to the outside zone a ton, but able to get a good play there and create a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, you're seeing just short. So Ford stepped out of bounds at the 22. Here's a big 3rd down play. Cunningham going to flip it to Ford again. Ford made a man miss in the backfield. That was Carson, the corner who had come up. And eventually Anderson makes the tackle, but not before Marshawn Ford gets the first down yardage.
Goes to him again. A similar play. This time they fake that inside zone that they've gone to so often. There's pressure on Malik Cunningham, and he just dumps it quickly. And does a nice job to get a block out on the perimeter and the first down.
So the Cards from the 16 now. Red zone opportunity for Satterfield's team. 3rd in the ACC coming in. Hassan Hall has come in to replace Mitchell as the running back. That's Smith in the orbit pattern. And here's Cunningham on the keep, and he'll slash down near the 5-yard line. Nick Anderson, the safety who had the 3 interceptions against Virginia Tech earlier in the year, makes the play on the Cardinal quarterback.
You can't blame Malik Cunningham for deciding to just go here, but if he's able to press Nick Anderson and then get that thing pitched, man, it's a walk-in into the end zone. But you can't fault him for taking a positive play. I mean, that was he always feels like he can take it to the house. You saw him when he came up, man, I almost had that one.
Who amongst us, though, wanted their quarterback to pitch it to him on a regular basis, right?
Oh,
that would be you.
Absolutely. I was the one that come back to the huddle and say, man, Josh, you got to pitch that one. Like, I know you thought you could have made the play, but I could have had a touchdown, and those don't come often.
1st and goal for Louisville at the 5. And here is Cunningham keeping it again. Gets a couple toward the 3. And it's Jones that makes the stop for Wake Forest. Hey, Roddy, it begs the alignment that Louisville gets into with the pistol set, the triple option you talked about, the outside zone, the stuff they've run inside today after they got Collins comfortable. He and Black playing at the center guard spot for Louisville.
Yeah, the inside stuff has been what's been open. And how about this drive for Louisville to start the 2nd half? Almost 7 minutes off the clock.
Wide open for the touchdown is Sherman. A 12-play drive is capped with a throw to Francis Sherman, the tight end.
This is a complete team drive. I mean, Malik Cunningham certainly made some plays. Marshawn Ford, and then the easy touchdown for Sherman in the end zone. But you got to give credit to the offensive line, opening up holes for Jalen Mitchell. You got to give credit to Dez Fitzpatrick and this receiving core as well. That was a statement drive.
Yep.
And they could go up 18 here with the extra point.
And the point by Turner is good. Inside the upright, so they burned almost 7 minutes of the 3rd quarter off the clock, and now the Cards have built an 18-point lead on Wake Forest, 28-10. Scott Satterfield's team here too.
The stop at the end of the first half becomes huge with the ability to score in the second half. I mean, this is a completely different Louisville team since that first quarter.
Wind really whipping around here on what is senior day, by the way, at Cardinal Stadium as well. A number of players, most of them on defense of note here today being honored. You do see Dez Fitzpatrick on his final walk out on the stadium. There's Dorian Etheridge, who's had a marvelous career here. You saw C.J. Avery earlier, and Larisha, pictures all around for this group as well. Incomplete pass on first down. The struggles of Sam Hartman, now 3 for his last 18, Roddy, in the ball game.
Yeah, it's been a struggle to find holes in this Louisville defense. I do want to give a shout out to some of the seniors that didn't walk though, Wes. Wake Forest is going fast, so we'll do it after this.
And here's a throw near side, and the Deacons with A.T. Perry. That's his first catch, and should be enough for the first down, Roddy.
Well, I want to talk about and recognize the fact that Cole Bentley, Cameron DeGeorge out for this game, not able to participate in this senior day. Those are two guys that would have walked. Ian Pfeiffer as well. Would have been his second senior day, but he would have participated as well. Those guys declared out for the game. Not able to participate. Wanted to give them a little shout out because that is certainly something that they deserve in a moment that they're not going to get because of everything that's gone on this year.
Yeah, Trey Clark, by the way, the stop there against the Wake run game. So second down and 8 for Hartman and the Deacons. There's Hartman, fake the handoff, now going to throw, and Roberson with a great catch. Can't keep his feet, falls down inside the 15 at the 14 against Russ Yeast, and that is some kind of catch by Jaquarii Roberson.
Just watch this. I mean, he gets one-on-one. Sam Hartman does a nice job of being able to scramble and throws this ball into the wind. Russ Yeast is all over that left hand. He's able to snag it with the right. And Wes, I'm not telling you how to produce your show, but get this on WRU too. This one's got to be on there too. You're just providing material for Monday morning right now. Just trying to help the group text.
Just trying to help the Lumberjacks.
I know you're gonna blow. I know your phone's gonna blow up with Pack and the Lumberjacks talking about it and all those things. I just want to throw it in there. I'm not telling these guys how to do their jobs, but go ahead and cut that one. Stick it in the passage.
Number 59, 5-yard penalty.
Roberson, another great catch, 44 yards. There was a pass interference call, obviously declined, and now we get a whistle and a stop on play. Procedure going to be the call here against Wake Forest. As Roddy continues to not only provide analysis for this game, but produce Monday's edition of Packer and Durham. 1st and 15 it is. The Deacons need something here to answer Louisville's barrage from the midway point of the second quarter, and Hartman cannot break free. Great run pursuit by the Ville, headed by Dorian Etheridge.
You saw the athleticism there of the senior from Charleston, West Virginia, Dorian Etheridge. I mean, he's kind of caught in no man's land with Sam Hartman, who tries to put a move on him, and is able to track the quarterback down before he's able to get positive yardage.
Hartman now from the pocket, 2nd and 15. Long throw offline for Chapman, the tight end.
Well, speaking of WRU, Packer and Durham, be sure to tune in every Monday morning here on ACC Network for Packer and Durham. You have news and information from the ACC, along with special guests, including just some really good ones on Fridays. You got a broadcaster and a non-broadcaster every day from 7 to 10 on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Wait a second. Broadcaster and non-broadcaster? What do you mean?
When we chatted yesterday, Pac made it very clear that he's not a broadcaster.
Well,
and
that's
you
true.
clearly are.
Okay.
So, I mean, the two of you guys make a great pair.
Well,
as Louisville was able to stop Wake Forest on another 3rd down.
Oh, man. I hope he's watching another game. Okay, here we go. 4th and 8. And Skiba going to try a 31-yard field goal. The wind really blowing here at Cardinal Stadium.
Look at how they're struggling with the net.
The kicking net is a mess. Here's Skiba for the kick, and he does a great job of fighting the wind. 5:26 to go in the 3rd. Wake to within 15. Dave Clawson, this family's had to take this football season to another level because of Catherine's recovery and chemotherapy and radiation. She and her husband have been separated while he tends to coach the football team. And there's plenty about this story, the relationship there. Obviously, the coach's wife, the support he gets from her, and he says, you know, what I'm doing is is nothing compared to protecting our family, and she wants me to be with the football team. And it's just a really, really important message, not only during a pandemic, but especially during V Week. And Larissa, you got more on the relationship with Coach Clausen and his wife, Catherine, and Courtney and Eric, their children.
Yeah, in order for him to do his job, he had to make that tough decision by isolating himself from his family. They were apart all the way until about November. That's when the cancellations started happening, and he received multiple negative tests. So things sort of went back to normal for a little while. However, now that games are back in play, is it back to being extra cautious? He says they have limited interaction. They wear masks. They sleep in different rooms. But he enjoyed the time that he was able to spend with his wife, and now he's trying to do the best and make the best of this moment now. He said he can't, again, interact with her much, but they are doing their best to make it work.
Yep. Great statement of the faith they have in their marriage and the faith they have in the job he's got to do as well. And we remind you that during these challenging times, ESPN and the V Foundation's fight against cancer has not stopped. If you're able, please support cancer research by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. And Coach Clausen's team now has cut it to a 15-point Louisville lead. It's been really a tale of quarters 2 and early 3 here for the Cards. Malik Cunningham's been at the wheel here this afternoon for Scott Satterfield's team. And Mitchell will work his way toward the 35. Roddy, I exchanged notes with Coach Clausen's daughter, Courtney, who's in school at Davidson. She and her brother, Eric, are watching the game, so we say hello to them. I asked about her mom. She said, well, you know, TV, no, Mom's listening to Stan Cotton, the longtime radio voice of Wake Forest. And I said, that's probably a good choice. Stan's a longtime friend, and he and Larry Sorensen got the call on radio today. But we spend special holiday wishes to the Clausen family for the sacrifice they've made as this pandemic is kind of held course through the college football campaign. It's been a different walk for all of us in many, many ways. Here's Mitchell breaking free. Another long run for Jalen Mitchell. Kaysen to beat, can't do it again. He's tackled inside the 20 around the 18-yard line, but another long run for this redshirt freshman.
It's another inside zone play. I mean, they just wash down the right side, and right up the middle goes Jalen Mitchell. He's exploded a couple of times. Wake Forest having to sell out to stop that 3rd and 1, and Louisville, who is so good often at creasing teams on the outside, has been able to crease this Wake Forest team on the inside over and over and over. It's a really nice job by this offensive line. They found something that works, taking advantage of the right side of that offensive line, washing down the defensive line, and just running right behind them.
16 carries, 167 now for Mitchell in the ball game. Here's a throw onto the perimeter. Catch made by Watkins. It's Jordan Watkins. He's from Butler High School in Louisville. Kalen Carson, who stopped Mitchell a moment ago, makes the tackle there. Another one of those young players in the Wake secondary they're excited about. But, boy, Jalen Mitchell has kind of announced his presence here today, Roddy, with a little more playing time as a result of the Hawkins opt-out earlier and the emergence of Hassan Hall at the running back spot.
And you know, I thought Dave Clausen said something that was incredibly enlightening about Scott Satterfield. I mean, they've played each other a number of times. And he said, look, I think the Louisville team has a great scheme. I think Scott Satterfield has a great scheme, but it's not so rigid that it doesn't take advantage of what his guys do best. Jalen Mitchell is not the same type of outside zone runner that Javian Hawkins was. So this team has evolved and changed what they've done to take advantage of what Mitchell does well, which is getting his shoulder square and running downhill.
Yep. And you see Coach Satterfield with Dwayne Ledford on the sidelines, his offensive coordinator. And here's 3rd down and 9 now. Well, the way the wind's whipping around here at Cardinals Stadium, any kick will be an adventure from here on out today. And certainly in the current conditions. Under 2 to go in the 3rd. They got it snapped. Cunningham, quick throw. Dez Fitzpatrick trying to get some blocking help. And the Deacons do a good job. Kobe Davis has had a nice day out of the secondary for Wake Forest. Fights in there to make the play around the veteran Fitzpatrick.
The young Kobe Davis has made a couple of tackles. Not surprised there with the wind and the way things are going that you go with the safe pass. and hope that Dez Fitzpatrick can make a play. Now they're going to come out and try and extend this lead back to 18. But look at that wind. Look at that. Look at the way that wind is whipping around. That's going to make it really tough. A hard right to left wind.
Yep. See what kind of wedge game James Turner's got here. And the kick is faked. And the Cards get it inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, and the play is with the tight end Sherman again. Francis Sherman ends up with the football.
Let's watch this play. Sherman's on the right side of the screen. Just a little shovel pass. They open it up, get a couple blockers out front. It's actually a pretty decent play by Wake Forest defense to be able to contact him early. I've not seen a call on whether or not it's a first down. But Louisville kind of thinking what we are. Hey, look, the kicking game's going to be an adventure. Our defense has played well. Let's just go ahead and see if we can pick it up on the fake. Francis Sherman, the freshman from Bay Village, Ohio, just short though.
Yep, going to be measured just short. The Deacons are going to take over at their own 10-yard line. 28-13, a minute and change to go. Third period at Cardinal Stadium continues, and Scott Satterfield's team holding to a 15-point lead, Roddy.
Yeah, you see the shovel pass, and Sherman just not able to get quite across the line. You see that ball lands just past the 10-yard line, not quite enough. And the defense has played well enough where you feel comfortable making that decision.
And the first down give, Justice Ellison now. He and Beal Smith been handling the run game today for the Deeks. And they will whistle the play after 4 Cards wrapped him up. Justice Ellison came in on the year, 15 carries, 44 yards, the touchdown against Campbell. He's played well, though, in his first extended look. Second down give, broke away from 1. But then gets hauled down by Avery. Pickup of a couple on the play. Well, you see it's been a tough ride for Sam Hartman after the opening 15 minutes. Now a throw on third down, and that's caught. The tight end, Blake Whiteheart. 4th catch of the year. 8-13 with Roddy Jones, Larisha Harris, Thomas Morrissey producing, Mike Griffin directing. We welcome you back in the 4th quarter underway with Wake Forest trying to drive it on the ground with Justice Ellison as we start quarter 4 here, Roddy, in a ball game that the Cards took command of with, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so to go in this second period of play. And really, Louisville has not looked back. It's going to be incumbent upon Wake here to build their momentum with these possessions.
Yeah, they're going to have to string together some third down conversions or be better on first and second down.
Ellison tackled by Clark. And third down coming up here for the Deeks. Been a tough quarter 2 and 3 for Sam Hartman. 5 of his last 21, and he will try for the quick snap sneak and a procedure penalty against Wake Forest here. Flag on the play, it looks like. Will cost the Deacons 5.
Full start offense.
Hartman's helmet.
All 11 players were not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, third down.
And
but because there's no play, there was no play there. So the helmet, he should not have to exit the game, right?
I wouldn't think so, but
well, it was a procedure penalty, so it's declared a no play, I would think. And
then the helmet post scrimmage looks like it got pulled off. And here's Michael Kern, the redshirt freshman from Orlando. And now Hartman comes back.
Yeah,
Michael Kern all ready to Wally Pip this thing. And
well, I think that was the discussion. Because there's no official play,
right,
the helmet coming off does not affect Sam Hartman being able to participate in the next play.
Right. It looked like Zach Edwards was the guy that got into the stack around Hartman and pulled the helmet off. As
the ruling on the field,
here's Jerry Magalhanis.
Number 10 quarterback, there was no play, and his helmet came off. Therefore, he does not have to leave for one play.
So there you go, Roddy. Just as you had indicated.
Because there wasn't a play, Sam Hartman gets to stay.
Yep. 3rd and 5. And here's Ellison. And Justice Ellison going to be held up. And first guy there was Peterson, another senior from the Atlanta area in Tucker, Georgia, 5th-year guy, and now Wake Forest on 4th down, Roddy.
Well, it's a no-brainer that you go for it here. Louisville played that well on the last play. You see the press coverage. You've got Jaquarii Roberson in the slot to the bottom.
In here, Roddy, what are you looking for out of the timeout on 4th down?
Well, I think you go to your best 2-point type play. You only need a couple of yards here, so you see what the matchup is with Jaquarii Roberson, who's in the slot to the top. If you don't like that, then maybe you come back to the bottom with Blake Whiteheart, something going out towards the sideline.
They got A.T. Perry, bottom of the screen. There's Roberson in motion here for Hartman. 4th down and 2. Wake will throw. And it's caught. This is Roberson. 1st down and more. He'll cut it to 10. And Jaquarii Roberson scores. Touchdown, Wake Forest on a 4th and short play.
It's exactly what they went with, Wes. They go with their best 2-point conversion play, type play. And Louisville just loses complete track of Jaquarii Roberson. He's able to be wide open on the sideline, makes a safety miss, and now Wake Forest is going to go for 2, which is the smart move here when you're down by 9.
So 13:24 to go in the ball game. Deacons looking for 2 to cut it to a touchdown.
Again, watch Roberson, the slot to the bottom of Marin on the back line on some sort of dig.
Louisville brings an extra guy. Hartman tries to get away, throws the ball up in the air, and it's incomplete. Hartman was going down in the clutches of Yasir Abdullah, so it will stay a 9-point game.
Looks like there's a penalty, Wes.
Yep.
Sam Hartman's pointing the other way.
Deeks may get another crack at this.
Holding defense, number 33. Half the distance to the goal penalty. We will replay the try.
So a holding call on Isaiah Hayes.
The quarterback was outside the pocket and got the ball past the line of scrimmage.
So all right, Roddy, you get another step closer here. You still agree with the 2, obviously, to cut it to 7.
Yeah. And the reason you go for 2 here is you're eventually going to need a 2-point conversion. So you go for it on the front end so that if you don't get it, you can change the way you operate and plan to have to score twice down the line. Whereas if you go for it on the second one, you may not have time to get that other score that you need. So you get a little conversation. I'm not sure what the review is going to be here.
Right. So Jerry Magdalena's talking. Touchdown for Wake Forest. 8 plays, 90 yards in 2:44. And here's the play in question. Was he down when he threw it is the question, well, but they called the hold, right?
Yeah, you saw the hold up top. So it shouldn't matter whether or not he was down. The hold.
We will replay the try.
Whatever
Either way,
it is,
Wake Forest is going to get another shot, yeah.
Yep. And Beal Smith stays in the ball game with Hartman. To try and draw the Deeks now within a touchdown. Hartman, quick throw, and caught. Roberson for the 2 points. So a 2-point play brings Wake Forest to within a touchdown. We're early in quarter 4. Not as high scoring as we expected, but it is close. Cards will have the ball after a great play on 4th down.
You like the flavor on, like what it's doing to you. if you want some more, yeah, we can give it to you.
Choose 4 off. The 2-point conversion follows, and now the Deacons, who were getting bounced around pretty good, quarters 2 and 3. And the kick will be handled right around the goal line, and not much more than the 20-yard line for Hassan Hall. Let's go back to the 4th and 2 touchdown.
Well, let's look at Jaquarii Roberson. He's at the top of the screen in the slot, and it looks like Russ Yeast has him man-to-man because it's man across the board. When he motions across, there's no communication. You're going to see Isaiah Hayes come off the edge. No one picks up Roberson. Yeast is in the middle of the field. Roberson's able to make a miss after being wide open. He's able to get in the end zone. So a complete lack of communication, a complete bust on this Louisville defense on a crucial 4th down. Wake Forest is able to take advantage.
Okay, Roddy, now we go back to the point here where Louisville's defense, which has played better this year, has to hope the offense can maintain some degree of momentum. And again, we're talking about a team that's lost its 2 top offensive stars, not named Malik Cunningham and Javian Hawkins, to an opt-out on November 16th. And earlier this week, Tutu Atwell's Louisville career came to an end. So now it's on a guy like Mitchell, who's run for a career-high number today, had 2 big long runs among them, and Cunningham, right?
And it's going to be on those 5 guys up front. Austin Collins there in the middle, Josh Black, Caleb Chandler, Adonis Boone, Renato Brown. Those guys are going to have to bring this thing home for Louisville.
2nd down and 8, Cunningham to throw. From the pocket, and incomplete, looking for Fitzpatrick on senior day. Dez Fitzpatrick set up the first touchdown of the day for Hassan Hall. He's had 6 for 77, and that was the 8th time he'd been targeted today.
This is a huge 3rd down for Louisville, obviously. And with the wind and the inability to throw the football really consistently well. I mean, the wind is whipping around so hard, it's going to make it tough. If I'm Louisville, I'm thinking about maybe a quarterback draw, something to get Malik Cunningham in space.
Yep. 3rd down and 8. Cunningham back across the middle. Catch is made. And Braden Smith holds on. Tackle made by Nick Anderson.
Well, no need to go to it if you can get Braden Smith one-on-one with Kobe Davis, and he's able to come in on the dig and make the completion. A nice delivery. Good pickup of the blitz, too, by this young and experienced offensive line.
So Braden Smith, the sophomore, who had 7 catches against Syracuse earlier this year. And we get a whistle stopping play with 3 minutes gone in the 4th period. And Jerry Magalena sorting things out.
Start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And the penalty will be on Roscoe Johnson, the wide receiver who's come into the ball game. Again, without Atwell, whose career is over. Justin Marshall, Josh Johnson are down. We saw Christian Fitzpatrick, Dez's younger brother, start the ball game today. We're going to see Roscoe Johnson, Jordan Watkins, among others, trying to fill the gap in the receiving core for Gunnar Brewer, who coaches the wide receivers for Scott Satterfield. Here's Cunningham trying to make something happen on 1st and 15. Deacons rally to the football. And Dion Bergen looked like a guy who was first there.
It's going to come down to this Wake Forest defense making a play. I mean, Louisville's offense really figured it out. The inside zone and hitting some plays to Dez Fitzpatrick down the field. But this is a perfect situation. You've got Louisville in 2nd and long, opportunity to get to another 3rd and long. You got to be able to get off the field to get the ball back to your offense after that last score.
Low snap. Cunningham in the pocket, cannot get away that time. The Deeks get there with J.J. Roberts, Roddy, another young freshman coming through and making the play for Coach Clausen's team. Miles Fox is the guy that spun Cunningham around.
And the big thing, watch the blitz come off the edge. It's actually picked up halfway decently, but the ability to rally back and tackle Malik Cunningham before he really gets going by J.J. Roberts. I mean, that prevented a huge play. There was a ton of room had he been able to get past that initial wave. And it creates that third and long. Once again, 3rd and 13. Can you get off the field if you're Wake Forest?
Louisville 5 of 11 on 3rd down today. There were 15 of their last 28 coming into the afternoon. Cunningham hit as he throws. Long throw for Fitzpatrick, and a flag will be thrown. Kalen Carson with pass interference.
Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, let's look at the pass interference. The shame of this is Kalen Carson didn't need to do it because there's no way anybody's catching this football. I mean, the ball's thrown 5 yards out of bounds. I'm actually surprised that wasn't declared uncatchable, but Malik Cunningham under pressure just throws the ball up and is able to get the call. But gosh, that ball was thrown so far out of bounds that Wake Forest didn't even need it.
Yep. So 1st and 10 for the Cards. Here's Cunningham. And he'll find a seam left side again, and quarterback goes 16 for the first down. Looked like he got hit right on the right wrist, Roddy, by Nick Anderson.
He's a little shaken up after that play. You can see him in pain. Well, he's grabbing that left hamstring. That is not a good sign if you're Louisville. And his legs are such a big part of what Louisville does and such a big part of his game. I've played with a hamstring injury before. It is no fun, and it hinders you in multiple ways.
We'll see what happens here. That's going to go straight ahead. Cunningham's really now favoring the left leg. You saw Mitchell not able to get anything going. So let's get another look at the snap before. And Malik Cunningham, because we may be getting ready to see Puma pass here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that you're going to have to. I don't see how Malik Cunningham can continue. He's got no escapability with that hamstring if it's bothering him as much as it looked like it was after that last fake. I mean, there's going to be no mobility, no way to get out of the pocket. So you're completely relying on the protection in front of him and his ability to deliver the football on time.
Here's Cunningham to throw on 2nd and 10. Looping down the field, Fitzpatrick was there with Carson. Incomplete. And now 3rd down. Facing the Cards, who lead a touchdown here, but you sense the momentum might be the guy with guys wearing black helmets, Roddy, as we work our way inside 9 minutes.
Watch the tight end coming across the field. I mean, Sherman was wide open. Francis Sherman dragging across the field on that over route was wide open. Cunningham opted to go deep. But I don't know if the Wake Forest defense is going to be in tune with what's going on with Malik Cunningham and the way he's moving. But you got to think you're going to heat the pocket up here and make Malik Cunningham make a play with his legs.
Hassan Hall is coming the ball game in the backfield. Cunningham slips it across the middle. This is Braden Smith on 3rd and 10. The tackle made by Kobe Davis, but it's enough for the first down. What an amazing set of circumstances facing Louisville here. And Cunningham guts one out in the pocket here, Roddy.
And Wake decides to drop into a zone. They don't bring anybody extra. Braden Smith just kind of settles in that zone. He's able to make a man miss and pick up the first down. You know, in that situation, that pass interference call has got to be in the back of Lyle Hempel's head, you know, thinking if we go man-to-man again and they just throw it up, are we going to get a little too handsy once again? So they decide to go with zone. It gives Malik Cunningham a ton of time, and he's able to deliver an accurate pass.
So 1st and 10. Cunningham's not running anywhere with this football. And the carry to Hassan Hall as we go inside of 8 minutes. Jaquarii Williams the tackle. You see Cunningham now not trying to play his hand for the Wake Forest defense, but clearly evident that he's nowhere near 100%. And the Cards are letting the play clock wind down here too, Roddy. They know good and well what's at stake now with the touchdown advantage and halfway through quarter 4.
You're trying to shorten the game. You're in field goal range, at least in normal times you're in field goal range. Maybe with the wind it would be tough on a day like that, but try and shorten the game.
They're going to flip it on the reverse, coming here to the near side. And down the sideline, and a touchdown for Jordan Watkins. True freshman had 4 catches against Syracuse and now has a touchdown. How crazy is this play?
It's just a little reverse. You fake the zone inside. You get a nice block out front. It looked like Marshawn Ford leading out front. Nice block on the perimeter. Watkins into the end zone. And this Wake Forest defense had its opportunities. You had Louisville in a 3rd and long 2 times. One time they're able to convert on the pass play. The other time it's a pass.
Well, a reverse of sorts, if you will, Roddy. Jordan Watkins on the ground. The wide receiver goes 23 yards. Louisville pushes the advantage back to 2 scores. 35-21. The wind playing a tremendous factor here today. And a short kick. Deacons got to get on this. It's loose. And I think the Cards have come up with it just outside the 20-yard line. And they have Marvin Dallas on the kick cover unit.
Wow. I mean, it's
I just said the wind's been playing tricks.
You absolutely are right. You've got to be aggressive here and field this in the air, because this is what can happen. You know, if you're one of those up backs, the closest one, you have to go and field this. It's why you do those pop kick practices before practice every single day. You can't let the ball hit the ground in that area, because you never know how it's going to bounce. But good for Louisville, hustling downfield. And if they're able to get points here, especially a touchdown, got to feel like they're going to put the game away.
At the Wake Forest 21-yard line. Here's Cunningham. Quick throw the perimeter, and Smith got taken out of the air on the throw by Jasir Taylor. Second down and 10 coming up.
This Wake Forest team has been so good in the turnover margin all year, and really not making those kind of mistakes, or the interception that we saw earlier in the game. And here today, maybe it's the layoff, maybe it's the adversity over the last 24 hours, just have not been as sharp.
Second down and 10, and we got movement, I believe, on the Cards here.
Offense, number 44, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, we told you that coming into the ball game, the turnover disparity with these 2 teams was just so staggering. Louisville technically now is +2 with the fumble recovered on the kick. You get the Deacs, who've not lost it all year. Louisville's not won it. Roddy, Louisville has 7 games with 3 or more turnovers. They're -6 in their last 4. They've had 4 straight games of 3 turnovers. And so far, Scott Satterfield's team's been able to hang on to the rock. And it's given them a chance to win the game here.
And that's with a center who's their 4th string center playing. Austin Collins in the game. The Joshua Black at right guard. A guy who Scott Satterfield told us, look, these guys probably aren't ready to play, but they're going to have to grow up quick, because that's who we have to have out there. Absolutely incredible that not only have they been able to not turn the ball over, but they've been successful running the football against this Louisville defense.
So 3rd down and 13. See the ball at the 25. The Deacons can ill afford any points here, and they shut the door on Hassan Hall. Chase Jones, the linebacker, who had 24 stops a year ago, but because of the emergence of Jaquarii Williams and some others, has only had about a half-dozen tackles this year coming into the ball game. Well, let's see if Turner does kick it this time. 40-yard try.
He's perfect under 50 this year, Wes, but the wind could be a factor.
Yep. You see the clock, you see the line. 14-point game and under 6 to go. He's 12 of 14 on the year. And that one is good. New score at Cardinal Stadium. The Ville in front by 17. Back after this.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. Shop the most
experience and more. The Championship Hub launches Monday and is accessible from the ACC mobile app or online. Roddy, ACCChampHub.com. Now that's Monday it launches. There's another kickoff mishandled briefly, but Beal Smith picks it up. And Christian going to try to get to the far side here and see how far he can go before angling out of bounds shy of the 25, and a pair of markers down near the 20-yard line here.
During the return,
this Christian Beal Smith was
number 2 receiving team, 10-yard penalty,
trying to
first down.
Gather. And while they step this off against Wake Forest, what say you, number 20, about next Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock in Uptown Charlotte?
Well, it's never too early to start talking about it. So first for Clemson, they're going to have to get Trevor Lawrence involved in the run game. I think he's going to be fantastic in the pass game as always, but his presence in the zone read game is going to be huge. The big question is, how healthy are they on defense? We saw James Skalski exit the game against Virginia Tech. Landon Zanders we haven't seen in a while. That's going to be the big question. For Notre Dame, you got to make the others beat you again. Someone not named Etienne or Lawrence has to beat you. And the other thing, you got to bring the magic book. Not just any Ian book, the magic one we've seen recently.
Off the Wake 13-yard line. So you're talking about the Ian book that, you know, played in Chapel Hill, the Ian book that played the first time against Clemson. That Ian book, right?
Yeah, and there's no reason to think that we won't see him. But if the magic book doesn't show up, then I think it's going to be a tough day. I think it's going to be a tough day for Notre Dame. The others thing, though, like, you're going to have a Cornell Powell or an Amari Rogers be the guy to make the back-breaking play. You can't let Lawrence or Etienne do it. I know Clark Lee, obviously, is going to have the game plan for that.
10-yard throw to Roberson. And, boy, tough afternoon has materialized. We got an injured Card on the play. And so while they're out to check on the injured Louisville defender, 3rd down and 1 coming up. It's Rush Yeast, who, by the way, has been shaken up on the play. Clemson Notre Dame, of course, went to a double overtime contest in the first meeting, and they meet again next Saturday afternoon in Charlotte to determine the ACC. And I thought it was pointed out that when you talk about the 2 cubes here, Roddy, you're talking about 2 of, my goodness, I mean, I don't want to put a number on the list, but easily 2 of the top 10 right now in college football.
Yeah, two of the absolute best, and 2 guys that should be getting conversation for the Heisman Trophy. That's supposed to go to the most outstanding player in the country. Now, their stats don't stack up to guys like Kyle Trask or Mac Jones, but these 2 guys are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Trevor Lawrence obviously had the absence due to a positive COVID test, but in his return, he's looked really good. And Ian Book has just been so much fun to watch over the last half of the football season.
Tell you what's helped Ian Book is not only the emergence of Michael Mayer at tight end, but Javon McKinley has been sensational in the vertical game for the Irish.
Yeah, and they've been good in the run game with Kyron Williams. Avery Davis has made some plays for him.
Yep.
It's just been a really nice coaching job by Brian Kelly of making a good team at the beginning of the season with a ton of questions, a great team by the end with just about every question answered.
Under 5 to go now, and a 17-point lead for Louisville. Christian Beal Smith picked up the first down, but Sam Hartman and Wake Forest got to get it going. Throw game's been tough to come by, and that one intended for Morin is broken up by Marlon Character, the senior from Grady High School in Atlanta, playing in his 34th game today as a member of the Cards. And Roddy, interesting to talk with coaches the last couple of weeks about seniors and the waiver that was extended for this year of athletic eligibility by the NCAA before the year started. And there are going to be some decisions made here in the next couple of weeks that are fascinating as it relates to guys who may try and come back and play that bonus year, if you will. There's another throw by Hartman, and that got carried well out of bounds to make it 3rd and 10. And I think there are personnel decisions to be made by not only the student athlete, but also by the coaches too.
Well, student athlete, coaches, and administrators. I mean, administrators are going to have conversation with coaches. here's how many other scholarships we can afford. We didn't have budgeted years ago for 95 or 100 scholarship players in a season. And that's on the backs of one of the toughest financial seasons that any administration has had. So it's going to be really interesting to see how many schools take advantage and how many players do.
3rd down and 10. Well played by Louisville on a ball for Keyshawn Williams. The Cards just built the wall right away, and Lovey Jenkins really led the charge here.
Just fights through the block. There's nowhere to go, and it knocks the freshman Keyshawn Williams back. And this is, if there's any hope for Wake Forest, this is it.
Yep.
Down 17 with 4 minutes to go in the game. The hope is slim, but you're going to have to convert here if you're going to have it at all.
4th down and 10. Hartman cuts it loose and dropped. Roberson was there. You saw Jenkins in coverage as well, but the Deacons give it away on downs here with under 4 to play.
Yeah, I mean, this has kind of been the story. It's been so tough for Wake Forest in these 3rd and 4ths and long when Louisville has dropped 8. They have not been able to consistently find the space underneath. You really have to tip your cap today, Wes, to this Louisville defense. I mean, they have kind of been overlooked because of the record, but the improvement that they have had this season is one of the biggest improvements of any unit in the conference this year. I mean, you look at the yards per play, you look at the number of big plays given up, and Brian Brown has done a fantastic job with this defense. And I think you saw exactly how complimentary they have played here today, keeping the offense in the game until they figured it out.
Under 4 to go. Jalen Mitchell in the ball game. He'll take the toss from Cunningham, trying to get to the edge, and a tackle out of midair by Luke Masterson will make it 2nd down. And the Cards with this 17-point lead. Don't forget, Roddy, tonight late, after the Commonwealth Cup, the huddle after dark, right? No tie required. Jordan Cornette, Coach Rick, DJ Manuel, Eric McLean, the full day in the ACC. All the games, including highlights from South Florida, Tallahassee, Blacksburg, and obviously our ball game here today in Louisville, along with analysis, commentary, and much, much more. The huddle after dark, scheduled for 11 Eastern, always better when it's closer to midnight here on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. 2nd down and 7. It'll be 3rd down coming up as we go inside of 3 minutes to play. Roddy, a win today would obviously for Louisville give them 4 on the year, 3 in the league. But for Scott Satterfield, it might be a pretty important win given the kind of turbulence he's had to battle the last week.
Yeah, if you'd have lost this game, I think you know the negative feelings of losing are combined with sort of the negative feelings amongst the fan base that have happened over the last couple of weeks with the conversation with South Carolina and just the entire way that thing was handled. But a win starts the healing process, I feel like. You know, whether or not Louisville's season is over after this one, everybody obviously is bowl eligible, so they could get a bowl invite. Whether or not the season's over.
And a catch and a touchdown for Marshawn Ford. Usually a red zone target, Roddy. How about 83 coming up big?
If there's a guy that you're not going to turn completely loose, I'd put Marshawn Ford up there for Wake Forest, kind of selling out, try and get the ball back, and Louisville's obviously feeling really good about where they are in this game right now, and Scott Satterfield certainly is going to be happy with the effort of his team, with the number of guys that they are missing today in this offensive performance.
So with 2:17 to go, the Cards have thrown 2 touchdowns on the board in the last 5 minutes. And this one, Marshawn Ford's 6th touchdown catch of the year.
He's in the backfield, just runs a wheel route. They do it a couple times a game. Nobody takes him for Wake Forest. An easy pitch and catch to get in the end zone. And Malik Cunningham looks to be okay after that little hamstring scare earlier, but has not run. He's been able to deliver the football, though.
Well, and Scott Satterfield has now seen his team score on 7 of their last 8 possessions. and total up 439 yards of offense along the way in those 8 possessions, Roddy.
How about this team? I mean, just battling over and over and over in this game. They were able to do it in multiple facets. The latest one being the recovery on the kickoff team, just hustling down, hoping for good things to happen. It does, puts the game away, and then this offense continues to roll. And to be honest with you, Wes, like, this is what this team could have been all season without the turnovers. The turnovers have been the biggest thing, because coming into this game, when you looked at the turnover margin, this team was really struggled in it, obviously, and was 1-6 when losing the turnover margin.
Here's the kick and the return. Keyshawn Williams, quick return, and Larisha downstairs next to the, what I've got to believe is a jubilant Louisville bench here this afternoon.
It definitely is. I think the emotions are now starting to flow, especially from the seniors. I know when I talked to Dorian Etheridge, he told me, you know, it's game time. I can't think about the emotions, but now that we are towards the end here, a lot of the seniors are actually starting to express that emotion. And I saw Jared Goldwire come in for a long embrace with fellow defensive linemen. And Dorian Etheridge, he also played a part in that too. Long embraces with others on the defense as well. So we can see all of that emotion starting to finally flow, as I think it's settling in for these guys that this is or could possibly be their last game on this Cardinal field.
Yeah, no question. And, you know, it's with a couple minutes to go here. You see the run, and this is the young freshman, Amani Marshall, getting the carry. 3rd of the year for, and also Michael Kern, by the way, has come back in at quarterback. We saw him briefly. It looked like Hartman would have to take a snap off due to a helmet coming off, but here's Michael Kern appearing in his 5th career game as a Demon Deacon from Lake Nona High School down in the Orlando area. Under 2 minutes to go, and Marshall, who this week and next week behind Ellison and Beal Smith, might get some more reps to polish off his freshman year. Roddy, go back to Satterfield, though. This, with all the things, there was a letter released to season ticket holders yesterday. It became public. It was a pretty good letter. In fact, you know, we talked to several folks in this community about the value of it, because Scott Satterfield did enough here in year 1, as you mentioned at the top, to kind of make people forget the tumultuous end of Bobby Petrino, the John L. Smith walk-off, the Charlie Strong situation to Texas, all the things that have kind of inhibited Louisville fans from fully embracing football. Scott Satterfield cured a lot of that, but then those wounds were kind of opened back up last week with the reports of his visit with the folks at South Carolina.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And so you had to have a little bit of therapy this week for Louisville fans, but also I think Coach Satterfield had to realize too the value of that embrace from this Cardinal fan base that it had taken place over the last year. And even this year, when you're not, as you said earlier, maybe winning as many games as you'd like to.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And to be completely honest, you know, I'm not so sure Scott Satterfield didn't realize pretty quickly the mistake that he'd made by even having the conversation. But look, the healing process is going to be a long one, and it's only going to come with time, wins, and also just being dedicated to this program. But he's obviously got the support of his players. They played very hard for him here today, and it's great to see these seniors go off on their home field with a win, because one of the questions that you're always asked about your football career is, well, how was your senior day? And to have that memory for these guys is one that they'll cherish for the rest of their lives.
Especially in a scenario like this. And Wake Forest will have to snap it one more time, but the Cards are going to pick up win number 4. Wake will have a game to go next Saturday, scheduled at Truist Field against Florida State. The Deacs, who had won 4 of their last 5, coming to Louisville, led early, but a second quarter explosion by Malik Cunningham and a turnover, our turnaround in the turnover game, Roddy, really proved to be a difference here today. 10 Louisville points on the 2 Wake Forest errors.
I think, though, the defense is the story. Obviously, the turnover was big, but the defense holding in early in that game until the Louisville offense figured it out with that young offensive line, the success in the run game. It's just a really nice performance for Louisville.
Well, 2 guys that have met many times before and will continue to do so in the years to come. With a nice greeting there at midfield. A winning Saturday for Louisville, 45-21.